Global PE firm Carlyle, which has over $1 billion of investments in the financial services sector in India, is bullish on its portfolio companies like Yes Bank and PNB Housing Finance. In an exclusive interview, Sunil Kaul of Carlyle shares his view on the investee companies with Nisha Poddar on Big Deal. She began by asking him about Carlyle's view on Yes Bank's performance. Let's hear that out.
Look, speaking as an investor, I think the banking sector in India is poised for pretty strong performance so long as you have the fundamentals around risk management and your business model in place. The bank went through a difficult time. I think they've done a fantastic job, as you saw during the transition period from 2020 onwards. The deposit franchise has flourished over a period of time. They have repositioned the bank from being very wholesale, project finance, long-term exposure point of view to more towards SME and retail. And they have very, very strong transaction banking capabilities, really recognized by the system as a whole. So we are very pleased with the work that they have done. We think that, if you believe in the fundamentals of this market, which we really do, and I think you can tell that I do, there is no reason why there should not be a good investment. Now, whether it, people sometimes get a little, and I'm not talking Yes in particular, but in general, people sometimes get a little antsy about, 1 month has elapsed, 2 months have elapsed, and, where is the dramatic transformation? Those of us who have worked in the industry for a period of time, it is hard work. You have to do it step by step. You can't rush into it. You can't make a different mistake because you are in some sort of a hurry. And I think that the bank and the numbers speak for themselves, is making strong progress. It will take time, but they are in the right direction, and we are quite comfortable with the investment we made.
And key growth drivers in your view?
Same as for everyone else. It's the consumer, it is the increasing consumption, it is people's need to save, people's need to borrow to buy a home or an auto, or
right.
Buy insurance because they distribute insurance products. Right. SMEs, they're not the small and mid-sized enterprises are not the best served. You have some NBFCs, some banks and all that, but if there is a bank that can offer products across the spectrum, yes, from transaction products to foreign exchange products to trade products to lending products, and I think these, the Yes Bank has a tremendous opportunity to kind of do well there.
And you spoke about housing finance, and you have an investment in PNB Housing Finance. So, Sunil, talking about the lessons from the past, and how is the future looking for that particular investing company?
Well, it's a great company, and I have always, said that it is a wonderful company. During the ILFS crisis, etc., obviously all of the companies had a bit of a challenge. I think the company is again doing a great job in terms of repositioning itself. It's almost entirely retail now. It used to be a slightly different proportion, 80-20. Now it's 97-3. I think we have a fantastic management team in place. They can talk to the specifics of the performance. They're delivering good returns. They had a very successful rights issue, which we participated more than our proportion. That should give you a sense. Even after having been invested there for a period of time, we put in more than what was our pro rata because we believe in the story. I think they are building an affordable housing segment, which is actually doing extremely well. But since it's a little smaller than the other, it's not probably as well known. They've done a great job in managing their liability base. They have a fantastic deposit franchise. We have a great board. Our partnership with PNB is wonderful. So I think we are in a sweet spot. The stock price has responded accordingly. But I think we said at the very beginning in terms of the transformation of the business. So we feel good about the team. We feel good about the investment. And I think it's another example of where an investor like us, we made this investment in 2015. This is 2023, it's 8 years.
Yes.
But, when we feel that, and particularly in financial services, that we can make a difference by providing capital, by providing time, by making sure we have the right team, we can drive the business to greater heights. We stay. Yes. We are not a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month investor. And I think that shows.
And you spoke about the affordable housing finance space in PNB Housing Finance. Do you think in future it could be one of the key growth drivers, and what is your view on this space?
I think it will be an important part of the overall mix. Once again, one thing I learned in finance, and I've done it for a long time, is that you can't get carried away. You need to have a sense of balance. Because things, there are things you know and then things you don't know, but overall, if you have a little bit of diversification, it helps.
Yes.
And in the PNB housing, obviously, there is, there's the prime and there is this and a little bit of LAP and so on. But leaving PNB aside, overall, affordable housing segment is an important segment. The reason it became hot is because perhaps the banks were not servicing it as well, which opened an opportunity for other players.
Yes.
It is getting competitive. I think valuations there, people need to take a hard look at whether the valuations are fair, because, sometimes people, it might, just because something is good doesn't mean it's worth as much.
Over euphoric, yeah.
So both in terms of, and then the other thing is that many of these companies have to recognize that it's one thing to go when you are 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 by 20%, 30%. When you are 20,000 crores or 25,000 crores and PNB housing is over 50,000 crores, when you do 20% growth, you have to be sure that your credit, and you're not scraping the bottom. You don't have adverse selection. Yes. And so I would say, therefore, that it's a great opportunity. It's important for people to service this segment, but it has to be done in moderation at reasonable valuations.
And at these valuations, are you seeing enough attractive propositions is what
I think we have a decent pipeline.
Yes.
And, again, go back on the valuation question is if we feel that at whatever valuation a deal is available, we can make a difference and therefore generate returns, valuation is just one of the inputs into that.
All right. Insightful conversation. With that, we're out of time on this edition of Chartbusters. Stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.